Steve Jobs says that management is about persuading people to do things they don't want to do, where leadership is about inspiring them to do things they never thought possible. And of course, Steve Jobs has got a great reputation as a great innovator, as a great change agent. The other day, I showed up at church, and I got there a little bit early, and my family was meeting me there. And there was a gentleman sitting next to me, and I struck up a conversation with him, and it turned out that he was from Apple. He was here in the 80s and worked in the production facility over in Carrollton. And I love Apple products, and I'm a Steve Jobs fan, so I said, well, tell me about that. What was that like? He goes, Mark, I'd go back to that environment in a heartbeat. I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, we were working 16-hour days, and we were cranking up, but you know what? It was probably the highlight of my career. And I said, well, what? I mean, how did Steve at the time, this is before Steve left the first time, I said, how did he get you guys to work that hard, work that number of hours? And he goes, Mark, he goes, we were changing the world. He goes, we really thought we were changing the world. It wasn't about building a computer. It wasn't about showing up to, put a product together or do a mundane job. Jobs was excellent at getting them to link to a bigger vision of what they wanted to accomplish, and to inspire them to do something that, you look back on that, changed the world, really. I mean, but that had that team extremely motivated to move forward and really make things happen and go that extra effort. So let's talk about some of the leaders that you've had in your life. So think about somebody maybe as a leader that's made an impact on you. Maybe it was a coach, maybe it was a teacher, maybe it's somebody you work for today, maybe it's somebody in city government, maybe it's somebody that you haven't met but that serves as a role model for you. And kind of write down in your notes that first name that comes to mind as somebody that might fit that leadership role for you. Kind of think about who that person is. And then think about what are some of the things that person does, or what are some of their characteristics that have enabled that person to be a great leader for me. Anybody want to offer up some suggestions here for the group? So think about that leader, and think about that person that really made an impact on you, that really inspired you or convinced you to do something maybe at the time that you didn't think you could get to. And what are some of the traits that come to mind when you think of that leader?
Visionary.
Visionary, excellent, thank you very much. Visionary, anybody else?
Great listener.
Enthusiasm, so kind of attitude, okay, excellent. Listen, okay, I didn't see who said that back on the back row, thank you very much. Yeah, good listener, so wasn't talking all the time?
2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Yeah, use them proportionally.
Strong character who walked his talk.
Strong character, walked his talk, excellent. Came up with new ideas. So kind of that whole idea of being out there first.
Right, and inspires it.
And it inspires it. Out of those traits that we've talked about, which do you think might be foundational? In other words, we got to have that in the beginning before we can move on to anything else. Anybody want to take a guess at that one? Think about, it's a word that wasn't used, but I'll give you a hint. Go ahead. Trust. Bingo, yeah, trust. And trust is really the foundation of leadership, isn't it? If we don't trust a leader and they're trying to go first and they're trying to take us someplace, right? And they want us to follow, we're not going to follow if that trust isn't there. Now, we might work for them, we might show up, we might go through the motions because we've got to feed a family, we've got to keep our job, and we're going to go through those things. But in terms of putting that extra effort in to really helping get the organization to move forward, it really takes the ability to instill trust, doesn't it? Excellent answer. Thank you very much. So I think of trust as really being the foundation of leadership. I think trust is the glue that holds everything together for us.
And trust Mark Fenner to build your team's performance. 469-293-6198. This is Bob Kaplitz for the Rise Performance Group.